that was very upsetting to me, but it was definitely a wake-up moment of there is a big problem at the moment. There's a massive problem in jiu-jitsu. So today's pretty cruisy, as in it's not the structure is not difficult. We're doing 4 UFC style rounds. So 1 UFC round is 3 times 5-minute rounds. Any questions on that? No? Cool. All right, I'll give you guys 5 minutes to make sure your bodies are warm. So if that's drilling, make sure you guys are drilling. If that's moving around a little bit, make sure you're moving around. Just be warm, because when we start our UFC rounds, we're going all the way through until we're done. Yeah? All right, 1, 2, 3. Go for it, guys. Who wants to go first out of you two?
Whatever, let's go.
Somebody needs to, yeah, okay. Who wants to go first out of you two, both of you? Just like point at the other person. So I started jiu-jitsu probably in 2009, 2010, so I've been doing jiu-jitsu for quite some time. And I remember really early on in that journey, there weren't many females floating around, and Liv Giles was on the scene, and she was spoken about in a lot of conversations about female athletes. So she was definitely somebody who I looked up to. I had the opportunity to meet her at some jiu-jitsu camps that I did quite early on.
I don't remember exactly when I met Adele first, but I think one of the first times would have been during open mats at Absolute back when we were in Satiara, and she was called Zeebs because she was a white belt with like 20 stripes. She was a white belt forever, and it's because she started jiu-jitsu when she was very young. And she was a good kid.
Back then she would just beat the absolute living daylights out of me. So realistically my motivation between then and now was to get good enough to then give it back to her. But, all right, 3 5-minute rounds with the same partner, guys.
Skill-wise, it's hard to know what I'm actually adding to her camp right now. Like, you know, conversely for me to like just bashing her up to being bashed up every day. I think what I like about us is that we muck around a little bit and we have a lot of fun, but when it's training time, it's pretty serious.
At this stage, there's no real history between me and Carol. I think that she's an incredible athlete. You know, I have nothing but respect for her. I think that she's definitely coming onto the scene and showing the world what she's made of. But for me, moving into this phase of my career where I really want to be dominant in that UFC BJJ format, in the bowl, in that rule set, I see myself as an athlete that is consistently developing, consistently improving. You don't see the same version of me in any match that I do. You know, we put a lot of time and energy into consistently adapting and getting better and having more interesting and fun matches. So that's what I hope to showcase out on the UFC BJJ mats.
She's such a huge voice in jiu-jitsu for women, and speaking up for women, speaking up for what's right, speaking up against abuse.
So what I did, I want to say almost a year ago, maybe a little bit less, is I put a question up on my Instagram story, and the question was very simple. It was unprompted. It was, what is the biggest problem in jiu-jitsu at the moment? And I didn't want to make it a leading question. I wanted to give people the space to answer it however they wanted to. And I was overwhelmed by the amount of answers that were directly talking about people being taken advantage of, being sexually assaulted, being groomed, being manipulated by people higher up in their jiu-jitsu community. And that was deeply disturbing to see, that it is such a widespread issue that goes across many different countries, many different gyms. And that was very upsetting to me, but it was definitely a wake-up moment of there is a big problem at the moment. There's a massive problem in jiu-jitsu, so we really as a community need to come together to protect the most vulnerable. Yeah, it's much more widespread than we think it is, and it's much more common than we think it is, and I don't think that we're able to be blissfully ignorant anymore. I don't think we can just close our eyes and our ears and not listen to what's going on. I think that it is our duty, it is our responsibility to listen, to hold people accountable, and to protect the people that need to be protected most in this community.
Fantastic finish there and great performance, and you got to hand it to Selma Vick. Look, really good throughout that. I thought that was a really entertaining back and forth match.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your winner by rear naked choke submission in the red corner, Adele Fornarino.
Guys, there's a crisis in jiu-jitsu at the moment. There's a big problem, and it's coming from the hierarchical structure of our sport, okay? There's people in positions of dominance over people that are vulnerable, and these people in positions of dominance, their job is to protect, is to look after and teach people how to protect themselves. So these are the very people that are taking advantage of the most vulnerable in our sport, and it needs to stop. And the only way that we can make this stop, guys, is if we all hold these people accountable for what they're doing. Yeah? No more blissful ignorance. There is no such thing as an innocent bystander anymore, guys. Okay? We are in control of this. We need to speak out, we need to speak up, and we need to protect the most vulnerable in this sport. And I promise I will do everything in my power to make sure that by the time the next generation gets here, they will not have to deal with this anymore, because they don't deserve it. I love jiu-jitsu, I love this sport. I've been doing this my entire life, but we need to fix it. And we need to fix it today, guys. Thank you.